Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into something delicious today?
Always ready for a culinary adventure, especially when it involves a little heat.
Well, get ready because today's deep dive is all about sambal, that fiery, flavorful condiment. It's a cornerstone of Southeast Asian cooking.
Ah, Sambal. I see we're talking about one of my favorites today.
Right, it's just, there's so much more to it than meets the eye. It's not just about the heat, although we love that. It's about the history, the culture, the way sambal tells a story that goes way beyond just one region.
It really does. For me, that's what makes exploring any cuisine so fascinating. It's like opening a window into different cultures and histories.
Exactly. And sambal is a perfect example. So to kick things off, where does the story of this incredible condiment begin?
Well, we often associate Sambal with Southeast Asia in general, but did you know the story really begins in Indonesia? The word Sambal itself is actually from Javanese and Sundanese.
Those are two of the major languages in Indonesia, right?
Yeah, and when you dig into the linguistic roots like that, it often gives you clues about a dish's origins.
That's so cool. It's like language is its own kind of historical record. So we're talking about Indonesia as the heartland of sambal. But I'm thinking about the main ingredient, chilies. Those aren't exactly native to Southeast Asia, are they?
You're exactly right. It's one of those fascinating twists in culinary history. Chili peppers actually arrived in Southeast Asia thanks to those Portuguese traders way back in the 16th century. They brought them over from, would you believe it, the Americas.
Talk about a culinary plot twist. And this was a time when global trade routes were really opening up, right? So different cultures and cuisines were really starting to mix it up.
Exactly. And one place that really embodies that fusion is Singapore. Founded in 1819, it quickly became this incredible melting pot. Diverse cultures, diverse cuisines, it was all blending together there.
So how does sambal fit into the Singapore story?
There's this really interesting account from a traveler, J.D. Vaughan. In 1879, he visited Singapore and noted that people were enjoying their sambal, like this, with bread and butter.
Bread and butter, that's not what I expected. It just shows how sambal was already breaking free from these traditional culinary boundaries.
It's a fantastic little detail, and it speaks to how food constantly evolves, adapts, and takes on new life in different cultural contexts. And speaking of evolution, sambal itself has gone through some incredible transformations as it spread throughout the region.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so many varieties of sambal. Each one has its own unique flavor profile and texture.
Think about the different chilies used, the textures from chunky to smooth, the additions of ingredients like shrimp paste or lime. It's amazing. Across Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, you have this incredible diversity of sambal.
It's not just one condiment, it's this whole world unto itself.
Precisely.
You know, it really makes you think about how we often talk about authenticity in food. Sambal is like, well, it shows how these traditional dishes, even the spiciest ones, are often the result of cultural exchange and culinary innovation.
It really challenges us to rethink those ideas, doesn't it? Food history isn't static, it's this dynamic, evolving story.
It leaves us all with something to chew on. So, to our listeners, here's a little food for thought. Take a look around your own kitchens. How many of those favorite dishes that you just have to have, how many have a surprisingly global past?